Good morning, everyone. Today is September 18th, 2022. Globex is opening in about 35 minutes. I'm over here on the Pacific Coast. I thought I'd make a video going over how I create these weekly plans. Last week I was looking at 4137 as resistance. It was about, took 3 ticks of heat, and I had support at 3857, which took, I think, about 3.5 points of heat. So on a news-filled 300-point range, we were able to pretty accurately get resistance and support nailed, as well as identify a new low of the month once we got underneath that 3980 area. So instead of just a usual photo, I thought I'd do a video to give you guys an idea how I'm looking at the market. Let's go to this screen first. These are monthly profiles that you're looking at. In general, what I'm looking at is the pre-COVID high around 3,400, and then an auction that takes place, which results in a move up towards 4,800. Once we get 4,800, we sell off, yet we hold this key area at 4054.75, which is a value area low of 2021. And we simply are auctioning this inside of 2021's value over here. We make a decision, sell off into the 2021 low. I believe it's at 3650-ish. And our current low of the year is 36.39. So churn inside value, make a decision, shorts cover at the 2021 low. We have an inside month. We have August, try to decide what it's going to do. It's unable to get back outside of Q2 value area high, and instead we come back inside of June's range. We tried to get over the volume done in August, but we sold off perfectly and came down to July's POC as well. So that's how I'm looking at the market in general. Coming down to a weekly time frame, you can see we put in POCs, slightly descending POCs, but right around this 39.90 to 39.65 area for the past 3 weeks. This is why this area is my pivot. We've done a lot of volume here. 38.79.75, sorry, 39.75. Help me out here for a second. 39.79.75 is our value area low for the month of August. We put in a few weekly POCs here. So this is quite a pivoty area. You can also see we put in volume here back in July. It's been an important spot, clearly. So going on to a more detailed chart. Here we are. Here's how I'm actually looking at the week coming up for us. News-wise, we have nothing Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, we have FOMC at 2 p.m. Thursday, unemployment pre-market. Friday, we have PMI in the morning and JPOW in the afternoon toward the close. So we have a bit of news that might move the market around, but in general, here's what I'm looking at. We have a gap up to 39.05, which likely gets closed. If that gets closed and rejected early in the week, it is very likely that we lose 38.57 and come down to fill this gap at 3,800. Here's the gap. We gapped up from 3,800 to about 3820-ish. These swing lows likely fail. We close the gap. And if there's enough sell pressure, we will come down and visit these balance lows at 37.44. You want to really clearly see what I'm talking about in regards to balance. You can see we're just nicely rotating around this area. So here's our gap close, and here are the balance lows. These would be our 2 targets upon a break of last week's low at 38.53. It would also mean we're inside of all of July's volume that was done. Coming back over here. This is where the past few weeks we've done a significant amount of volume, about 39.95 to 67.75, 39.95 being last week's middle, I believe, as well as a value area high. It's unlikely that we break it, because if we do, we likely take out 40.17. I wrote it's extremely unlikely to break simply because if this breaks, we open up 42.23.75. That is the 2022 current middle from the low to high of the year. The 2021 middle is around there, as is the 2021 POC. So this is very key to holding. If we don't, we could be opening up worms to 4223. In general, there's been a lot of structural levels created in this area between 3900 and let's call it 4000. You can see that over here. 3800, 4000. You have high time frame levels. You have single prints, value area low on the prior month, prior week's value area high, prior week's half, prior week's POC, a monthly close. There's a monthly low just right there, 54.75. There's been a lot of junk. The July half, the September open, there's a lot of junk in that 100-point range, and we're likely to have choppy trade. In general, what I would recommend is, what I will personally be doing, you can decide to do it if you want or not, I'll be looking at this area simply as resistance or balance highs around 74, this being a pivot area, and this being our support. That will simply be how I'm looking at it. This was the plan for Friday's trading. I will modify it before the open, but these three levels, I believe, will be key: 79-ish, 42-ish, and 06-ish. Going back to our weekly plan, I am doubtful that we go ahead and break the current current low of the year. It's a lot to ask for. That'd be another 250-point drop, and considering Monday we were trading 250 points higher, you're asking for a 500-point drop in 2 weeks, which is a little bit aggressive. So instead, what I'll look for is either a bid to be caught here or a weekly low to be put in this range, and then for this area to likely be the high for the rest of the month. So in general, again, we have two scenarios: close the gap, reject, break the low, and find a bid either at 3,800 or these lower 3,700s, or we accept above the pivot, churn in this area, likely reject, and then make our way down. It is quite unlikely we break and accept above this 4017 area and start getting into the 4050s and 4100s. I believe for the most part that we are done with the 4100s for the rest of the year. Almost certainly done with the 4200s. That's a weekly outlook. Hopefully the sound was decent this time. I tried to keep it short. We're at 8 minutes. Go ahead and give a follow on Twitter. That's where I post everything. Intraday and the Sunday weekly plans. Hope that helped. Have a good week.